Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the CZ75. What an amazing pistol this is. I had so much fun testing this thing out. This particular one is the matte stainless 75B model. It's got the firing pin block safety. And I found that I do best with this thing cocked and locked, which is good because it doesn't have a decocker, which means lowering the hammer is kind of risky, so I don't bother. And I'm here at the 50-yard range. That day I was out there, some jackass at the 25-yard range was being unsafe and shooting like ricochet hazard stuff like right in front of him. So I didn't feel like picking up a ricochet that day, so I took this out to 50 yards instead. And you know what? This thing is so accurate, I was landing hits at 50 yards with a freaking handgun. I mean, that's great. Where do I begin? You can see here I got it cocked and locked, which is, I think, how it carries best, even though it does technically do double action, single action. This particular model does have the firing pin block, as noted by that little pin. And I'm going to show you takedown here, these little takedown notches. I'll show you how that works. But overall, I can't speak highly enough. So what you do, you line these notches up, right? And then while they're lined up, you press in a nub on the right side of the frame, which then pushes the slide lock out, and then the slide comes off. And so takedown is pretty easy. I don't have a problem with it. This little nub was very hard to put out at first, but as it gets worn in, you can do it with your thumb. Like early on, I had to use a mag to smack it, but now it comes out pretty easily. And so this thing just pops right out, and then off comes your slide, and then you go ahead and clean all your internals. And you do want to keep this baby clean because there is a lot of surface area between the frame and the slide. So this baby does not like to run dirty. It'll tolerate a little bit of dirt, but you cannot neglect this thing. You have to maintain it, kind of like a 1911. The trigger is what makes it shine, though. I do wish I had picked up the non-firing pin block version, though, because that would drop around a quarter-pound or so off the weight and make it a little bit smoother. But even with the firing pin block, it's great. It doesn't stack, and it has a very crisp let-off. And that, combined with the great ergonomics, means that your sight picture doesn't move very much when you pull the trigger. You do still have to have good fundamentals, but at 50 yards on an 8.5-inch wide piece of paper, mind you, we're talking about a very small target at a very large distance for a pistol. I was landing about 4 hits per mag, which, you know, again, on a sheet of paper, remember, if that had been a silhouette target, it would have been about 7 hits per mag, you know, if that had been a full-size silhouette. The ergonomics help out a lot. It comes with these rubberized grips, or I guess just rubber grips, and they're really great. They're sticky, but not too sticky. They're not uncomfortable against like your stomach or something. And they work wonders. It's just glued to your hand. The mags are also great. They're extremely slick. They have this like low friction coating, and they're easy to load. You don't need a mag loader. They hold 16, which is not a lot compared to some, but it's plenty. And that also means less fatigue on the springs because the springs are not too tensioned. Very easy to insert, very easy to rack on. The sights are great. They're standard 3-dot sights. This particular model, the stainless, the sights glow in the dark, which is nifty. I mean, I don't really ever use that. I think it's kind of cool. If it doesn't add too much cost, I'll take it. But, you know, props to them for doing that. And it's very fast to acquire. The sight's very Glock-like. In fact, if you're used to using Glock sights, this will just come as second nature because it's almost identical. This particular one you can see could use a cleaning. This is just after I had taken it back from the range, and it's got some dust and some lint in it. But you do need to clean this thing. I've never had any malfunctions, but I've also been very meticulous about cleaning. I clean the carbon, I clean the dust, I clean everything, and I make sure that it's well oiled, especially around the sear, because the sear to hammer engagement is important. As you can see here on the piece of paper, we got 4 hits, possibly 5. I can't tell if one's a ricochet or not, so we'll just say 4. and that's at 50 yards, mind you. And then on the cardboard I had it attached to, there appears to be either 5 or 6. I recommend getting the non-firing pin block version, the non-B model, and dry firing the heck out of it with a snap cap. Then it is literally perfect.